Good morning, beautiful people. How are you? So I have a quick one this morning. Let me ask you, who killed Osinachi? The gospel singer that died. That's Peter Wanchuku allegedly killed. Was it Peter Wanchuku that killed her? Nah. Peter Wanchuku didn't wake up one day to become the monster that he is. He was born, he was raised. Let me tell you something. If you are a spouse, you are always abusing your spouse. Or if you are a spouse, you are comfortable taking abuse. You are living, you are creating a lifestyle for your children. You are creating a life pattern for your children. Children learn from us. Now, it's going to be even worse if you live in an environment where your pattern is repeated. If you're always abusing your spouse, you have friends, you have circles who abuse their children too. If your spouse is okay taking abuse, then your spouse also has friends or circle who are okay taking abuse. You are creating a lifestyle for your children. Whether you have male children or female children, you are creating a lifestyle, a life pattern, perhaps a generational pattern for your child. And you know the funny thing, you didn't create life. Life is not scripted. You can't dictate what happens. Now your spouse is okay taking abuse from you, you are getting away with it. Or you are okay. It's okay. You are a man, you are a woman, you are in charge, you are the Lord of the Ring or whatever they call it. And your spouse is okay taking it from you. Doesn't mean your child's spouse will be okay taking it. Remember, I said life is not scripted. You cannot dictate who your child is going to get married to tomorrow. You have taught your child about domestic violence. You've taught your child how to beat, how to call your wife names, how to be unreasonable in your marriage. You've taught your child how to handle domestic conflict. Let me use that. That's the right word I'm looking for. You've taught your child you've created a pattern of conflict resolution in the family, and your child has learned from it. Your child will adopt it as his or her lifestyle he is going to run with. Now, the person your child is going to get married to is also coming with a different template, a different lifestyle that has been modeled, that has been taught, that has been ingrained in him or her. Then they meet, because you are not scripting life. You cannot say, oh, my child is going to marry someone like my wife, or my child is going to marry someone like my husband. So even if I do all the nonsense, I do all the name calling, or the beating, or the locking out, or the flogging and everything, my child's spouse is going to take it in good faith. After all, my wife took it in good faith. You can't script that. You can't predict that. You can't want that and it will come to you. Remember, life is going to choose for your spouse. Whether your child chooses his or her spouse by his or herself, life is going to influence the spouse your child is going to get married to at the end of the day. Now, guess what? This spouse is going to be coming from a background with a different template. It's going to be coming from a background with a different lifestyle, a different pattern. Now, let me ask you, what happens if this spouse of your child comes with a pattern that if my husband calls me a name, I give him a dirty slap, or I take a bottle and I break on his head, or I take a knife and I stab him, or I take a gun and I shoot him? What if your child marries someone who is coming from that, who is marrying with that template? And remember, you already have told your child that it's okay to call your wife names, to beat your wife, to yell at your wife, to do all, or husband rather, because women also do it to their husbands, yes. So you already have told your child that it's okay, this is the lifestyle, this is the pattern, do anything you like. Women, men, they are meant to be treated like this and that. You've taught your child, or your child say, oh yes, that's the way to go. And your child marries someone whose family has taught a different pattern entirely. Now, remember, your child cannot just know from the start that, okay, this woman is going to be the woman that will break bottle. Because it is when the environment is right that the true nature of a person shows, that all the things the person has learned from childhood shows. That's the truth. You know, your child may date a woman for 10 years, and the woman never had any trigger that made her bring out a bottle to stab. So when they now get into the house, your child now says something, calls the spouse prostitute, negative name that the spouse cannot make sense out of. What do you think will happen? Domestic violence is there. The spouse brings out a bottle, brings out a stone, brings out a knife, and then someone dies. And there's a case in court of domestic violence. Let me ask you, who is responsible? Who is responsible? Maybe, God forbid, your child kills the spouse, or the spouse kills your child. Who is responsible? You are responsible. Whether you are a man, whether you are a woman, whether you are the one abusing your partner domestically, whether you are the one staying in an abusive marriage, you are living a lifestyle for your child. So again, I ask you, who killed Osinachi? Because Osinachi's husband was only working with the template he was given. Let me tell you something. People always say that you choose to change. Change is not automatic. You know, having change being automatic is over-exaggerated. It's not easy for someone. Just imagine someone who has lived a life, who has known something for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 30, even more, 40 years. You have known a way of living, a lifestyle. You have known this thing for this long, 30 years, 40 years. Except by divine intervention, the person cannot change from one day to the other. It's not possible. So even if the person is intentionally working on change, it is still a gradual process. It's going to take a while for the person to be able to change. That is the truth. So if you are raising your child in this kind of environment that you don't care, hey, pause and think. Now, this is why I'm always all emphatic about having a parenting vision. If you have a vision in the different dimensions of life, you know that marriage is one dimension of life. You have a vision. How do I want my child married life to be, or marriage life to be? You have that vision in your head. You would know that one of the things you want to do is to create a pattern your child will probably follow. Because your child is going to learn from you. Your child is going to see how things are done by you. You are going to model to your child. You're going to give your child a template to run his or her life when the time comes. So if you have at the back of your mind that, hey, one of the things I want to do is to make sure my child has enjoyed his marriage, for example. I don't want my child to die of domestic violence. I don't want my grandchildren to suffer any form of abuse. You need to start creating the template now. Like I told you, change is not immediate. You need to first of all realize that you need to change. Think of it. You need to change. Like I said to my children, wear your thinking cap. Wear your thinking cap and find out what you can do to change. Whatever you can do to change, please change. Because you are giving your child a lifestyle. You are giving your child a template. And the fact that it works for you does not mean it will work for your child. No, it works for you. It may not work for your child. The truth of the matter. You may have married a spouse who is so docile, who is so tolerant, and who can absorb, who has the biggest, the largest shock absorber in the entire world. So she or she can take all sorts of manners without even blinking, without even, they just have it like water pouring on rocks. So anything you do, it doesn't even get to them. You have that kind of a spouse. Doesn't mean your child will have that kind of a spouse. That is the truth. So it doesn't mean your child will have that kind of a spouse. It's not about whether your child is a man or your child is a woman. Whether your child is a man or your child is a woman, whatever gender your child is, whatever sex your child is learning from you. Your child is learning from you, and your child is likely going to tilt towards one. Either you are the violent partner, your child is going to pick from you, or you are the docile partner, your child is going to pick from you. I'm not even going to start talking about all the effects of domestic violence, self-esteem, and all of that. No, I'm not even going there. I'm just talking about the fact that what works for you may not work for your child. So in parenting, really, once you have a child, just know that it is a different ball game. It's no longer all about you. It's not about what you like. It's not about what you are comfortable with. It's not about what you want to do, but it's about the future of the child you have, that you are raising. Have you ever wondered that not everybody has the privilege to have a child? You have the privilege of having a child. Have you ever sat down to think, okay, it may be because of a reason. What is the reason? What can I do to help my child actualize this reason? Have you ever thought of that? Let me not deviate. The point again is, who killed Osinachi? Like I said, Osinachi's husband did not become a monster overnight. He was handed a template. Osinachi did not become so negatively, extremely docile overnight. She was handed a template. So let me ask you, what template are you handing over to your child? Marital template are you handing over to your child? Let me ask you, what lifestyle are you creating for your child? What are you modeling? What are your children saying? What are they saying? Remember again, what works for you may not work for your child. You married someone who is tolerant, who is patient, who is docile, who can take all the things you throw. Doesn't mean your child will marry someone who is actually like that. That is it. Your child may not marry someone your child may even marry someone who is even hotter than you. So at the end of the day, what do you think will happen? What do you think will happen? God forbid is not something we should be running with these days. No, it will never happen to my child, or trading blame. My spouse is the one making me do this. You cannot control what people do, but you can control how you choose to react to it. Your spouse is hostile. You can control how you react to it. Whether you choose to take it for your selfish reason, or you choose to think of your children and find what you can do, is all up to you. Because at the end of the day, I know that no parent actually wants to have a failure as a child. No parent wants his or her child to die before them, to even suffer domestic violence, or even to have a painful life. And ignorantly, because you are without a vision, you are doing that. So dear parents, I didn't plan talking too much, so I'll just stop here. Dear parents, again, I ask you, who killed Osinachi? Think of it. And secondly, what templates are you handing over to your child? Think of it. What lifestyle are you modeling to your child? Think of it. Whatever you do, as long as you have children, just know that it is no longer what is convenient for you. It is no longer what is comfortable for you. It is no longer what you want. It is no longer what works for you. It is no longer what works for you. It is more of what is right. Principles, the right thing to do, what my children will learn, what I want them to run with, what I want them to do when they are in this certain age, at what the path they should be going, because you are training them towards the path they should be going. Through modeling, you are training them towards the path they should be going. Through your lifestyle, you are training them towards the path they should be going. Through the things you do on a daily basis, you are training them towards the path they should be going. So as you listen and ponder over this message, ask yourself, what am I abusing my partner? Am I being unnecessarily docile? If you are, you need to wear your thinking cap and think it through, because your kids are watching, they are learning, you are handing them a template, you are giving them a lifestyle. Thank you for watching. Enemy Rebel is my name. Thank you for watching. See you next time.